Happy Monday, guys. Thanks for joining me. As always, please feel free to ask questions there in the comments or just say hello. I like to say hi to people. So I'm stuck here in my office. I get to see you online, say hello. It really makes my day. So today we're going to talk about finding good light. That is another huge topic of concern for a lot of people. Because obviously photography is all about light, so you got to find it. All right, a lot of times, well, before we start, let me just say, for the purpose of this talk, I am discussing finding good light for portraits. It'll be completely different if you're doing like landscape photography or, another type of photography that I don't do. So this is about finding good light for portraits and finding good light any time of day. This is not about finding good light for night photography. You're gonna have to take another course for that. That's just not what we're gonna discuss today. That's a whole other thing. So, all right, groundwork laid, finding good light. First, let's talk about finding good light outside any time of day. A lot of photographers constantly say, and I have been one of those from time to time, that you have to shoot only an hour around sunrise or an hour around sunset for the best light. And that is to a point true. You do have some really pretty golden light. You get that glow. Hey guys, hey Nicole, hey Heather. Heather has dared me to say hello Bison Butt if she shows up for a live video. So hi Bison Butt. That's for you, Heather. Yeah, so getting back to the topic at hand, finding good light outdoors. If you're outside of the window of that golden hour light, if you have to shoot during midday, a lot of people say it can't be done, but it can. So here are a couple different scenarios in which you can get great photos. If you have to shoot in the middle of the day, if you're in a city, it's fairly easy. You just put your subject in an alleyway, make sure it's a safe alleyway. There's no like broken glass or, scary, unsavory people hanging about. Not that I've ever had to do that before. But if you're in an alleyway between two buildings, that's what we call open shade, which is basically anywhere that you're outside and you can look up and see the sky, but you're still in the shade. The sun isn't shining directly on you. Wow. So between two buildings, usually the sun is reflected really nicely and you're going to get kind of a soft light on your subject's face, which is what you want. Let's see. Yep. In the city, alleyways. If you're not in a city or near any alleyways, you can find open shade under trees, if that's all you've got to work with. The problem with trees is you have to watch for dappling. So that's like where the sun shines through the leaves and you've got like the kind of patterns of light and shadow with the leaves. You don't want that like in someone's face. I don't know, unless it's an artistic look you're going for. It's not something I'm going for. For the purpose of this discussion, what we're looking for is like an even, soft light on your subject's face. Okay, so trees, you want to watch for dappling, so you want it to be a really solid patch of shade. You can also find open shade just about anywhere. On the side of a house, a wall, a fence, a tall fence. Even if you just have an assistant with a large cardboard box or a diffuser, something that can be held up to kind of block the sun from hitting your subject's face, that's going to give you that really soft glow, because around you, it's plenty bright enough if the sun is out. So the sun's rays are reflected and refracted all around you, and it's still going to give you the glow if you're in the shade. As a last resort, if you're shooting when the sun is high in the sky, you can, if you have like no shade, no open shade anywhere, no assistant to hold something up, just position your subject with the sun at their back. And I know it's not going to be like the low in the sky sun that gives a soft golden glow, whatever. But if the sun is kind of slightly at their back, even if it's like really, really high, the sun's rays are going to kind of wrap around your subject and give them kind of a soft glow. In that situation, you're going to want to overexpose your photo just a bit to allow more light to soak into the sensor or the film to kind of get your subject's face properly exposed. So you don't want it to be like a shadow. And typically, if you're backlighting a photo like that, the side that you're shooting, light's back here, camera's here, the side that you're shooting is going to be a lot darker because your camera's exposing for the bright light that's happening behind them. So you're going to want to overexpose. If you know what metering is at all, and we'll talk about that in later weeks, you're going to want to meter for their face. So get real close to them, take a meter reading on their face, and then set your settings accordingly. We talked about settings a couple of weeks ago. If you didn't catch that, you can scroll down and to the left and download the guide that I wrote, mostly from that video of how to understand your settings. That's a side note. So you're going to want to overexpose a little bit for their face. Let that golden light kind of wrap around them. Even if it's not the golden hour of the day, you're kind of faking it here, which is fine. What was I going to say? Oh, in any situation, you really want to let the light wrap around your subject if possible. And all of these methods are going to give you a nice kind of wrapped light. I will say in favor of film handles overexposure a lot better than a digital camera does. The film is kind of more primed for letting the light soak in without being super overexposed, without getting what we call hot spots, which is where the light is just 100% white. And you lose all the detail in that area. So for instance, if you're shooting a couple, let's say, who's standing here and you've got the light positioned behind them and there's like a forest back here. If you're overexposing, if you're exposing for their faces to kind of get that warm light wrapped around them, and you're using a digital camera, you are going to have a hard time not losing the detail in the forest that's behind them. Just because you've exposed for their faces, digital can't handle it as well as film, and you lose the detail. That's like another topic, guys. That's a deep well. We're not going to get into that today. If you are shooting on a cloudy day at any time of day, you are in luck because you can shoot any time of day on a cloudy day and be totally fine. You don't have to worry so much about finding open shade, about keeping the light from glaring on someone's face. The clouds diffuse the light all around you. It's just kind of light and beautiful. But you do still have to be a little careful because depending on where the sun is behind the clouds, you can get some shadows. And you don't want shadows under here or here. It's not a pretty thing, you guys. So my favorite trick is using the back of your hand. So like you can't see. Back of my hand, right? And moving it around the area that you're shooting in to see where the sun is the most soft and diffused. So you see right here, you can see like every vein in my hand and all the wrinkles. So shooting from this direction is probably not going to be a good idea in this lighting scenario. Here, my hand looks more flat and smooth. The light on it is more diffused. So you're going to know if you position your subject here where my hand is, the light is kind of softly coming through the clouds this direction. It's going to look really great on their face. You're not going to see all the wrinkles and lines, which is why I'm sitting here, you guys. Yeah, on purpose. So on a sunny day, to sum up, you want to find open shade somewhere where you can see the sky, but you're still in shade. And open shade is everywhere, you guys. Once you start noticing it, you can't stop noticing it. Be careful of trees. You don't want the dappled effect on someone's face. And if it's a cloudy day, like it is today, you're in luck because you can shoot almost anywhere. And don't forget the back of the hand trick. Move it around. So if you see me doing this at a session, I do this a lot. I'll look around like this. That's why I'm looking for where to position you so that your skin looks gorgeous. You're welcome. Let's see. If you're shooting indoors, indoor photography, we're going to talk about in a couple of weeks, actually. So I'm going to leave that whole thing for then. That's like a whole nother thing in and of itself. So for today, we're just talking about outdoor photography, portraits during the hours that the sun is actually up. And extra trick for you, the probably 5 minutes right after the sun sinks below the horizon are gorgeous. You still have that beautiful golden glow in the sky, but it's also the effect of a cloudy day. Like there's no directional sun. The sun is just, the glow is just everywhere. Perfect. If you can time your photograph for that 5 minutes after the sun hits the bottom of the horizon, you will be so happy. All right, so that's it. Does anyone have any questions? I know I kind of tend to go really fast. If you have questions, please let me know. Pop them in the comments there. If you're watching this when it's not live, comment, leave me a question, and I will make sure that I answer it because I really love connecting with you guys. This has been so much fun the last few weeks. I've gotten to connect with so many good people. Oh my gosh, I was going to say something else and now I completely forgot what it was. All right, bottom line, look for light that wraps softly around your subject. It's bottom line. Play with it. Maybe you'll find like 10 million other places to take photos that I didn't even mention that I don't even know about. So you do you. I know I am fun, Heather. I'm super fun. You should come hang out with me and drink herbal tea with me in my super diffused studio where you can't see all my wrinkles. Hi, Rebecca. All right, we're actually just wrapping up, but you guys can see the entire video later here on my Facebook page if you are so inclined. I will not force you to watch me awkwardly explain light. So you do you. All right, you guys. Peace out.